Hello students, once again welcome to this video lecture. This is the second part of my lecture on the Invisible Man as a science fiction. In the previous video I have talked about the elements of science fiction. I have given the definition and explanation about the science fiction, and in this video I wish to talk about the story of the Invisible Man. I'll also give you the analysis of the text, the novel itself, analysis of its title, themes, symbols, characters, ending of the novel, and why do we need to study science fiction. So let's go to my virtual classroom and let's listen to the very interesting and gripping story of Griffin, the Invisible Man, written by H.G. Wells. As I explained in my previous video, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells is a science fiction, and in that video I explained about the features, the characteristics of a science fiction. In this video I'll explain you and I'll tell you about the story, The Invisible Man. But before that I would like to give you some details about the author, Herbert George Wells, widely known as H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells was born into a poor family of shopkeepers in Kent, England in 1866, and he was a disciple of British scientist T.H. Huxley. Huxley was a great supporter of Darwin's theory, and I would like to mention here that T.H. Huxley was the grandfather of Aldous Huxley, a very well-known writer of book Brave New World. H.G. Wells left his teaching position when he was in his early 30s to write his first science fiction, The Time Machine, that was published in 1895. And as he got older, Wells began predicting the end of society and died in 1946 at the age of 80. And this is only because he saw two world wars, and soon after the detonation of the first atomic bomb, he had developed kind of apocalyptic vision that the world or the society was going to end. But in literature, H.G. Wells is considered as the father of science fiction. The huge success of Time Machine, his first novel, led him to follow his dreams of authorship as he continued to write science fiction novels with The Invisible Man, War of the Worlds, and The Island of Dr. Moreau. He authored more than 120 books in 60-year-long career. And some of his concerns are very much visible in his quotations. In one of his books he says that when I see an adult on a bicycle, I do not despair for the future of the human race. So he was very much conscious about environment. If we don't end war, war will end us. So all his concerns for humankind are visible in his works. Friends, The Invisible Man, that was published in 1897, became a great success, and hundreds of editions and publications are available over a century. I have here tried to keep a few images starting from the first publication to the latest. And The Invisible Man has been adapted in many versions by various mediums. Initially it was serialized in Pearson's Weekly in 1897, and then it was published during the same year. Now over a century it has been adapted into 9 Hollywood movies. I have given you the list that starting from 1933, even in this year, in 2020, a director is making a movie on The Invisible Man. So you know the popularity now, that how popular the book is, how successful the book is. So let's talk about the story. To begin with the title, The Invisible Man. In his very first edition, H.G. Wells calls it a grotesque romance. And somehow in later editions, this line has disappeared, that the source of his book is a line from a sonnet written by Sir John Davis in the 16th century, where he writes that being but dark earth, though made diaphanal. Now, by diaphanal he means translucent, something that allows light to pass through. So this is the source of his book, The Invisible Man. When Wells subtitles his book as a romance, he means that it is going to be a little unrealistic. So, The Invisible Man is a novel about how science can lead to trouble if it gets isolated and unrestricted by morality. So, there is an element of grotesqueness. It gives its gothic elements also. And appearing throughout the novel, the contrast between the reality of invisibility and the fantasy of its manifestation in Griffin's mind, it makes this novel romantic to a certain extent. So it is a grotesque romance. Let's get a quick view of the novel. So the main genre is science fiction. The subgenre is a dystopian novella. There are gothic elements, as I said. It is a grotesque romance. It is a psychological horror that I'll explain in my later slides. And it's been divided into total 28 chapters. The novel ends with an epilogue. There are 20 plus characters with a protagonist and antagonist, Griffin himself. Griffin himself is a protagonist and the Invisible Man is an antagonist, and the story begins in the middle. So this is the quick view or framework of The Invisible Man. The main characters are Griffin or the Invisible Man, Thomas Marvel, Dr. Kemp, Mr. and Mrs. Hall. So let's talk about the story in a nutshell. On one stormy day, a mysterious man comes to Mr. and Mrs. Hall's inn at Iping. Iping is the name of a town, and introduces himself as Griffin. He is given space at their inn. The scientist Griffin spends his days in his room experimenting with his chemicals and formulas. He does go out at night, however, completely bandaged up and wearing a fake nose. The villagers find him very peculiar. Since weird break-ins and robberies start happening in the village, people doubt at Griffin. The story takes a turn when Jenny Hall, that is Mrs. Hall, asks him to pay his pending rent or leave, and he, out of desperation, takes off all his bandages and literally disappears into the night. So here he first time discloses that he is invisible, and this is for the first time even readers also see that this man is invisible. So Griffin meets, on his way he meets Thomas Marvel, who assists him. Marvel is a drunkard and he has nothing to do, and he starts assisting Griffin, but then he reaches out to the police and Griffin runs away again. On his second run, Griffin meets Dr. Kemp, someone he knows from medical school where he used to study. And for the first time, the character of Griffin unfolds even to the reader when he starts telling about himself to Kemp, about his experiments with invisibility, as well as his current plans to terrorize England using his invisibility. And he tells Dr. Kemp that how while using the chemicals, due to chance reaction of chemicals, that his body allowed the light to pass through, and so he became invisible to others. But when he talks about his plans to terrorize England, Kemp realizes the danger and gives him up to police. So Griffin then breaks through the police line and chases Kemp into town, where the locals capture and kill Griffin. At the end of the novel, Marvel has saved Griffin's notes he took from his room at the inn, but perhaps thankfully he cannot decode the wonderful secret because Griffin has written the notes in his own language, in his own formulas, so Marvel fails to decode the secret of getting invisible, and that is where the story ends. So if we look at the storyline, the way the book has been divided, from chapter 1 to 6, the invisible man is he holds everyone by his strange behavior. In chapter 7, Griffin reveals his invisibility to Mrs. Hall. From chapter 8 to 16, we find Griffin is on run. In from chapter 17 to 19, Griffin meets Dr. Kemp and explains his situation. From chapter 20 to 23, we find the flashback where Griffin tells his story and how he became invisible. In chapter 24, Dr. Kemp ditches Griffin, and in chapter 25, 26 and 27, we find Griffin hunting Dr. Kemp as an invisible man. In the chapter 28, Griffin is killed, and in epilogue, Marvel tries to decode the wonderful secrets. So this is the story. This is the story in nutshell that I have tried to explain. What is important for you as a students of literature is the analysis of the novel, how the title is significant, what the plot is all about, what are the themes, to know something about the characters, symbols, ending of the novel, and why do we study this novel. So to begin with the title, in the first edition of The Invisible Man, H.G. Wells himself calls it a grotesque romance, that we have already talked in the previous video. But at the same time, he gives the reference to a line as the inspiration for this novel, and this line is, "Being but dark earth, though made diaphanal." Diaphanal means translucent, something from which light passes through, so it becomes transparent. This line H.G. Wells borrows from Sir John Davies's sonnet, where Sir John Davies talks about how light can make things visible as well as invisible. I have quoted the text here. You can see the spellings. These are the spellings of English that was used during Shakespeare's time. The text is, the spellings are different, but we can easily sense the meaning. And Sir John Davies tries to talk about the glorious yet dark mystery, and here lies the light, and that makes things obscure as well as invisible. So from there, H.G. Wells takes inspiration, and in his novel he makes it clear that the pursuit of invisibility is a human desire since ages. And here is Griffin in chapter 4. He is looking at his own experiment, and he is trying to find out that what has happened. No hand, just an empty sleeve. Lord, I thought that's a deformity. Then I thought there is something odd in that. What the devil keeps its sleeve up and open if there is nothing in it? There was nothing in it, I tell you. Nothing down it. Right down to the joint. I could see right down it to the elbow, and there was a glimmer of light shining through a tear of the cloth. And this is how he becomes invisible, and A.G. Wells's novel begins. The title itself is very significant. Now I'll move on to the plot. I have talked about the story. This is the story of Griffin, the invisible man himself. He is a scientist who theorizes that if a person's refractive index is changed to exactly that of air and his body does not absorb or reflect light, then he will not be visible. And he successfully carries out this procedure on himself but cannot become visible again. And that makes him mentally unstable as a result. Ultimately, Griffin clashes with the villagers and progressively becomes more unhinged and dangerous as he uses his powers for self-serving purposes. And in the end, Griffin is killed by a crowd with shawls after being hunted down by the townspeople. So this is the plot that you know by now. But every novel has a kind of structure for plot. A literary novel has, broadly speaking, a beginning, middle and end. Beginning involves exposition, conflict. In the middle is rising action, climax, and in the end it is the falling action and resolution. If we look at Invisible Man, we know that the story begins with Griffin. The time is between February and April. Griffin himself is the antagonist. The place is Iping. There is internal conflict. Griffin struggles to live with his own situation. There is also external conflict, how Griffin's invisibility is exposed to the world. So the readers are exposed to certain facts in the beginning of the novel, in the beginning of the plot, and then the action begins. The action rises to a certain point where Griffin's invisibility is discovered. So he is flying away from Iping. He meets Marvel, but then Marvel ditches him. Then Griffin tells Kemp the story of his invisibility. Kemp betrays Griffin by altering the police of his presence. And then again Griffin escapes, initiating a huge manhunt to capture him. So these are the rising actions that we find in the plot of the novel. Then comes climax, where Griffin begins his reign of terror by trying to kill Kemp and kills Mr. Wicksteed. And then the falling action begins, where a mob of men corner Griffin and viciously beat him. There comes the end, that Griffin dies and his body becomes visible. That is also the resolution, where Marvel tries to decode his wonderful secrets. So this is how the plot has exposition, rising action, climax, falling action and resolution as per literary device. This is the plot of The Invisible Man. Now I would like to talk about the themes. The main theme is lust for power. Once Griffin becomes invisible, he longs for power. He knows how to control people. So there is greed and self-interest. There are themes like the future versus the past, because whatever Griffin is doing, the experiments he is into, that talks about the future of mankind, whereas Iping, the village itself, is a symbol of the past. There is skepticism. There are certain characters, those who are skeptics about scientific innovations as well as about religion. There are people who are religious in Iping, so they believe in ghosts. They believe in supernatural elements. So there is a conflict between skepticism versus belief. And the main theme is man versus nature. The way Griffin is trying to find out certain ways of becoming invisible. It symbolizes, and it is one of the major themes of the invisible man, that he is challenging nature, the ways of nature. So these are some of the important themes in the novel. Coming to the characters, the main character is Griffin, we know, and Griffin himself is the protagonist and antagonist. There are flaws, and Griffin, so therefore Crossley, a critic, he says that Griffin is also the voice of suffering as much as an embodiment of ambition, indifferent to the anguish of others, unquote. So he is highly ambitious, yet he suffers on the other end. He is a careless character. He becomes the victim of his own experiment because he does not think about the future, the consequences of his own creation. As a protagonist, Griffin's character development clearly illustrates a shift in attitude towards his invisibility from admiration to contempt, as he begins to understand the nature of his atrocious experiment that he initially does not expect. So on one hand, he understands that he has become victim of his own experiment. On the other hand, as an antagonist, the invisible man wants to terrorize England. So both the personalities are poles apart, and that creates conflict within the character. There is Mr. Thomas Marvel. He is a tramp and an outcast. His greed for money makes assist Griffin, but at last he is smart enough to outsmart the invisible man and escapes with a lot of money and Griffin's invaluable books. Towards the end of the story, we see him as a prospering innkeeper. Unfortunately, he cannot decode the wonderful secrets that Griffin has jotted down in his notebook. So that is the character of Mr. Thomas Marvel. There are other characters, Mrs. Jenny Hall and Mr. George Hall, the innkeepers, and they are the owners of Coach and Horses Inn. Jenny Hall by nature is a hospitable, considerate, down-to-earth woman, and she pays personal attention to her guests, but her greed for money invites danger. Whereas on the other hand, Mr. George Hall is the husband of Mrs. Hall and is a co-owner of the inn. He is lazy by nature. He leaves the inn to the care of his wife. He is good-natured, extremely sociable. He has a habit of drinking. When a dog bites Griffin, George Hall follows him to see if he was all right. But then he was shocked to see a handless arm waving towards him. So, these are the differences between Mrs. Jenny Hall and Mr. George Hall, but somehow they compensate each other, and they are also part of the Invisible Man, important characters. Another important character is Dr. Kemp. He provides character foil and contrast to the impulsive Griffin. So he is the other side of the coin like Griffin. Dr. Kemp is more mature and a counterpart. And as Dr. Kemp contemplates the implication of Griffin's presence in his home, he quickly realizes how dangerous Griffin is to Iping. He is invisible, he said, and it reads like rage growing to mania. The things he may do, and he is upstairs free as the air. What on earth ought I to do? Dr. Kemp is instrumental in capturing Griffin. He then decides to hand him over to police. So he has a vision, he thinks a broad vision where he thinks of saving Iping, he thinks of saving England. So these are some important characters in the novel. Now I would like to talk about the symbols. The first and foremost is clothing. Clothes are Griffin's friends and foes. When Griffin discloses his circumstances to Dr. Kemp, he says, I quote, I had thought of painting and powdering my face and all that there was to show of me in order to render myself visible. But the disadvantage of this lay in the fact that I should require turpentine and other appliances and a considerable amount of time before I could vanish again. Finally, I chose a mask of the better type, slightly grotesque, but not more so than many human beings, dark glasses, greyish whiskers, and a wig. I could go forth into the world again equipped. So the clothing, once he is into the clothes, he is Griffin. When there are no clothes, he becomes invisible. So, and when he puts on the attires, people can see him. That becomes his foes sometimes. And clothes are his friends because whenever he eats or drinks something, nobody can see that. So, clothes is the symbol of his being Griffin and as well as the invisible man. There are other symbols. The place for a lone wolf to hide, like Griffin. It is contrast to the city life and culture. It is also the town with traditions. Another symbol is Griffin's notebook. It symbolizes both scientific advancement and the ways in which many ordinary people are prevented from accessing scientific knowledge. So the notebook becomes a symbol for that. There are dogs, unpredictable obstacles, and vigilance. They find out Griffin. So dogs are the symbols of vigilance. The weather, that is nature, that also symbolizes Griffin's thoughtfulness. It symbolizes universality that both serves and destroys men in different circumstances. So these are the symbols that H.G. Wells uses in The Invisible Man. Coming to the end of the novel has an open ending. If not Griffin, his notebooks are still alive. So it is not with the end of Griffin, the novel does not end. The books are still there. And in the epilogue, H.G. Wells writes, I quote, sometimes when he is alone, Marvel takes out the notebook he stole from Griffin, which he keeps locked away. He observes to himself that the notebooks are full of wonderful secrets. None other will know of them until he dies. But unfortunately, Marvel cannot decode these secrets, and the secrets are still lying intact. So the ending is an open ending. When we conclude, the novel is a tale of psychological terror. A young scientist must live in the personal hell created by his own experiments. Using himself as the subject, the scientist discovers the key to invisibility, yet he is unable to reverse the results. H.G. Wells has created a gripping masterpiece on the destructive effects of the invisibility has on the scientist and the insane and murderous chaos left in his malicious wake. So this is how the novel concludes, and students, you must be wondering why sci-fi, why scientific fiction, why science fiction? Because science fiction can teach us that preventive measures may be necessary in order to protect society in the future from what previously could have been unforeseen. At the same time, science fiction gives us a glimpse into what a future world might look like and gives people ideas as to what they can do to protect the world. And finally, science fiction is all about hope. because it talks about the advantages, disadvantages. It saves the world from the threats, and that therefore I personally believe that science fiction is all about hope. And quoting the 21st century world renowned historian Yuval Noah Harari in an interview on Geek's Guide to the Galaxy podcast, he says, I quote, "Today, science fiction is the most important artistic genre. It shapes the understanding of the public on thinking like artificial intelligence and biotechnology, which are likely to change our lives and society more than anything else in the coming decades. And therefore, science fiction is important to us, it is significant, and now we know that how it is also a form of literature. So thank you, students, thank you so much. I have tried my best to explain the novel, and I hope that you have enjoyed all my videos on The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you.